Well, good Monday morning. Welcome to the WLBB Community Voice here on News Talk 1330, FM 106.3, also streaming live online at newstalk1330.com and the WLBB app. And this morning, you can see us on the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page. I thought it was 8:30, but we're coming on a little early this morning. I think it's 8:28. I'll introduce you to our handsome young guest here in just one second. First of all, this is the last week for early voting, advanced voting, going on at the Carroll County Elections Office Monday through Friday, and then I believe it's on Saturday of this week as well. Yep, 9 to 5 on Saturday. Also in Villa Rica, they're going to have early voting at the center out there.
Rec Center, right?
Rec Center, yeah, in Villa Rica, and that's going on this week as well for those who want to vote early in Villa Rica before Election Day, which comes up on May the 24th. That is Tuesday. On that day, Election Day, you can tune into News Talk 1330, KISS 102.7, maybe WKNG, Great Classics. How about them? No, not Great Classics. But Tuesday night at 7 o'clock when the polls close, we're going to do the live wall-to-wall coverage. And I have a special guest with me, too, to fill in the dead air on Tuesday, so I hope you turn in for that show. Again, that'll be the, I know, it's exciting, the after-election show again, Tuesday, May the 24th. Now, my guest this morning is probably the last candidate for a race that we're gonna interview on this program ahead of Election Day, again, May 24th. His name is Curtis Steps. He's running for the District 5 Board of Education seat. That's the seat that was previously held by Donald Nixon, still held by Donald Nixon. He'll just retire at the end of this year. He did not seek re-election. Now, we have interviewed two other candidates in this race, Tom Sizemore and Bill Keskis. They've been on the program. You can compare the candidates. Go back and watch those shows or listen to them on the newstalk1330.com archive. Nice little folder that says midterm elections. And this interview will be there as well at about 9:05 this morning. My guest is Curtis Steps. Curtis, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing, Colin?
I'm doing great, man. Appreciate it. I chance to duck there. A tall guest, so we appreciate you coming out this morning to introduce us to you.
I really appreciate you having me.
Absolutely, because I would say out of the other two, I mean, Tom's been here for a little bit. Keskis seems like he's been here forever, and you're kind of new to the area. So, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm Curtis. Been in Carroll County for a year. My wife and my two kids, we just moved into the Ridge of Armstrong Crest. It's at the end of Bowden Junction. Getting my feet, familiar with the county for the first year, just trying to see what's going on and how it's going to benefit my child and what she's going to do in the county. She likes to play soccer. She likes to cheerlead. We actually went to the rec center right down there by the fire department.
Okay.
And she actually got to do gymnastics and flips, so she really enjoyed that. Yeah, but it's me out here, me and my family. I'm just trying to raise my kids so they can become productive citizens and give back.
Well, it does say something, though, to put yourself out there so quickly. I mean, a year. I mean, this community, it's I'd say it's a tight-knit community. Yeah. Everybody knows each other, so it is kind of a big step to put yourself out there and want to be part of it.
I actually got some old roots. My grandfather was actually born in Carrollton, but that was in 1941.
Yeah.
So that was about 81 years ago. So, but he's still alive. But apparently my granddad was from Carrollton, so that's cool.
Well, tell us about the decision. How did you come to what's motivating you, I guess, to seek this seat?
Well, the motivation and the decision probably are two different things. The decision came from, I got a notification saying that, hey, somebody's relinquishing their seat. School board, would you be interested in running? And I was like, well, my motivation is, of course, the kids. I love kids. I've always loved kids. They are our future. They're future doctors, future politicians, future engineers, future, radio hosts. They are the future. So we want to be able to prepare them for whatever they decide to do, whether it's college or, not college, technical or vocational school. Any path is okay as long as you're becoming a productive citizen. Mm-hmm. And the second part of that is being able to give back to the county. We want to make citizens that grow up and be like, oh, well, Carroll County, they treated me really nice. I want to come back and give to them. So
Curtis Steps, our guest on this morning's Community Voice program, one of three candidates for that District 5 seat on the Carroll County Board of Education. Tell us about your education background.
Okay. Well, I graduated from Lithia Springs High School in 2008. Went to Georgia Southern directly out of high school. I would not recommend that for those that aren't prepared. Georgia Southern's it's far away from home, but just close enough. But we partied a lot, did things we weren't supposed to do, but that's kids. And then I actually ended up transferring to Georgia Tech. because it's a lot closer to home. And
well, that's not easy. Georgia Tech.
No, Georgia Tech's not easy. It's actually probably the hardest school in the state, academically. And I went for aerospace engineering. Yeah, so I wanted to be a rocket scientist, but after growing up in life, not gets in the way, but life happens, and I had to take care of a couple family members, and I did not return to Georgia Tech. But through that, I realized I didn't want to be a rocket scientist. So I've always said growing up, what did you want to be? I wanted to be happy. Being in a lab and crunching numbers won't make me happy. What makes me happy is seeing kids flourish, seeing kids smile. Sports makes me happy. So those things, that's what kind of made me change my direction. Instead of wanting to be an engineer, now I want to teach math. I want to teach high school geometry and high school trig. Probably the two hardest math subjects besides calculus, but I found calculus easy. I actually found trig to be a little bit harder than calculus. So I want to actually make all of that easy for the kids. And this is a stepping stone. This is something in between. So I'm at Liberty University now to get my degree in secondary math education. But in the meantime, I want to still be able to impact the children of Carroll County the best way possible.
Curtis Steps, our guest on this morning's Community Voice program. Time right now is 8:35. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to post those to the News Talk 1330 Facebook page, and I will look at those during our break. Overall, what do you think about the Carroll County school system?
I've only been here a year. My daughter just started kindergarten. So August, graduation is on the 26th, and she started in August of last year. I hadn't had any problems. Miss Smith is an awesome teacher. Miss Leslie, she's an awesome teacher. The Mount Zion school system, or the Mount Zion elementary school, what I've been exposed to, I love it personally. I mean, I just like the closeness. Like you said, this is a relatively close-knit county, even though I got a pretty big district. But it is a close-knit county, and everybody knows everybody. I want everybody to see, that's I'd rather be Kennedy's dad instead of Mr. Steps. I want to be Kennedy's dad. I like to be noted as Kennedy's dad. I love you, baby. But so I really do like Carroll County, at least what I've been exposed to. I hadn't been exposed to anything negatively. The school, the teachers do their job, which teachers are always going to do their job. I hold teachers in probably the highest esteem. They have to look after our children when their children aren't even with them. But I really do enjoy the county. Looking forward to being more involved. Rec ball is something that I'm interested in. My daughter wants to play soccer. We figure out where she wants to play at. It's either going to be in Mount Zion. I actually talked to Mr. Lovelace, I think I'm Chad. He's head of Mount Zion Rec. I reached out to him, so hopefully this summer we can get her out there and get me out there, and I can be part-time coach or something to be able to contribute.
Well, Curtis clearly wants to be a part of this community. He is one of 3 candidates running for that District 3 seat on the Carroll County Board of Education. Well, when I think about the boards, like the Board of Commissioners or the Board of Education, I mean, idealistically, I'd like to see everybody have a separate talent that they can have. When you have an issue, that you can go to this person at least to get the ball rolling. What would you be bringing to that Board of Education? And I don't expect you to know what every other board member right now what they would bring, but what could they turn to you? It's like what would you be the first person that they choose to talk with about?
Probably foresight, looking ahead. Besides crunching numbers, I love numbers. I've always loved numbers. I got a perfect score on the math part of the graduation test. It's just I've always loved numbers. Numbers is it's beautiful because in English, Spanish, Portugal, any other language, it's all 1 + 1 is always gonna be 2, and that's why I've always loved math. Crunching numbers is something I can do, but foresight is definitely you have to address the issues of now, but you don't want to address them so strongly that you end up 15 years down the line being detrimental to another group of people or another group of students. Technology is changing our classrooms. You got it now. Well, COVID showed when we had tablets and things of that nature, you get people who don't have Wi-Fi. You have kids in our district, in District 5 that don't have access to internet. they need things like that, because you never know when we have to shut down the school, or we have to be like, hey, can we not go in person? Hopefully COVID's over. Hopefully we can stay without masks and everybody can stay safe. But you do want to be able to see how your actions or your decisions are going to affect that group of people, because at the end of the day, it's about the kids and it's about the teachers, because they are the heartbeat of our education system.
And I don't think we can talk about that too much, as far as, not having internet everywhere in the county and how big a deal that is for those kids. Can you pinpoint where it is? I mean, is it closer towards the state line where they're lacking it more?
It's probably, they just started laying lines on I guess that's not 16, Bowden Junction. Mm-hmm. They just started laying lines. We got 5 megabits per second. That's slow. Mm-hmm. That's slow for, anybody doing anything. But you get people now. It's not even about having access to it. It's about the ability to afford it. We got a large county. You get people on all scales of the income level, from the lowest of the lows to the highest of the highs. And if you have people that, and they do offer assistance. I do know that some internet companies like AT&T, they'll give you $10 a month or things like that. But we want to be mindful as a school board that, what about access to a tablet? Mm-hmm. You get some schools that hand out tablets. And they be like, okay, well, we want that back at the end of the year. I'm not sure. My daughter didn't get one. I'm not sure how they did. Like I said, we just got here a year ago, so I'm not sure how they did COVID.
Right. Yeah, when it started out.
Yeah. So, and I know they had to close down the school at some point. It's really meeting the child where they are, wherever they need. We want to be able to provide that. Mm-hmm. I know I got off the question, because what I bring is foresight, and that's the ability to see how our decisions are going to be impacted.
I think you're showing us who you are and your thinking process, and that's really what we're looking for here. Right. I think how you approach things. We got 5 clusters in the district.
Is this 5 or I got the map right?
Is it 5 or 6? Yeah, but do you think, and they come in different sizes. I mean,
mm-hmm.
We've got bigger clusters and smaller clusters. Should they be treated equally when we think about projects and improvements? Like the football stadiums, right. Should they all be treated equally, no matter the difference in their sizes?
Again, it's about meeting the students where they are. If we got a school that that needs more focus on academics instead of athletics, mm-hmm. then naturally we need to be like, hey, what can we do to improve this school academically before we, not saying that, because athletics brings in money. It brings in the most money when it comes to tickets and booster sales and all that. But we still want the primary focus of the school to, be education. So treating the schools the same is practically impossible. Now, being fair, that's equity. We can do equity. Now, being equal across the board, that's probably not going to be possible, because you have your Ithacas, and like, I haven't been around to all the schools, and that's probably one of the first things I want to do. I want to get out to the schools and talk to at least the teachers, not the administrators, because they got a peachy. I'm not gonna say they got a peachy key, but you get how the higher ups are compared to the people that are actually on the front line, and you want to speak to them and be like, what can we do to make your life easier? We don't want any teacher stressed out. We want teachers to come in and have a smile on their face and be like, you know what, I am prepared to conquer the day. The Board of Education has given me everything I need to be successful. Mm-hmm. So, no, you probably won't treat everyone the same, but that's because everybody's not the same. You get different clusters that have different access to certain things.
I'm veering off here a little bit, but this just popped into my head. Do you think it should be mandatory for principals of schools? And I'm talking about a specific situation here, but you're not going to be aware of it, I don't think. But is it mandatory? Should it be mandatory that principals of our schools, that their children go to our school system, the Carroll County school system?
It depends on circumstance. You get, what if his principal has a 17-year-old that's about to graduate from Douglas County High School? Should they make them send their last year without their friends and walk across the stage with a group of people that they know? No, of course not. You don't want to do that. But you think about, well, how am I contributing to the county? If I'm contributing in a positive way, then yes, I want my child to. If I feel as though that I should be contributing, then of course I would want my child to be at that school. But then you got private schools too. You get those kids that go to your landmarks, which is, that's in Fairburn, Georgia. That's a long way away. You get private schools. You got some parents and teachers want their kids to go to private schools.
Yeah, smaller classes.
That's okay. Everybody's different. My wife actually wants our kids to go to a charter school or a private school, and I'm like, well, public education raised me and you, and we turned out all right.
Okay,
I mean, I'm running for political office, So, I think that public schools they get a bad rap. But that's because you got this big group, and it's hard to, you can't like put your opinion or how you feel about public education based on the entire group, because again, you got people's differences. Georgia, not even just Georgia, but Carroll County is not going to be the same as Oglethorpe County or Chatham County. I mean, Georgia's not going to be the same as Nebraska. It's regionalized. I mean, we have different issues going on. I don't know, Buffalo, New York. You seen the shooting that happened in Buffalo, New York? It's terrible. That was an 18-year-old kid, that did that, and I'm not necessarily say we don't see mass shootings down here, but it's not as and I just hope that it never happens, but it's not as prevalent down here as you get in other places. And maybe if mental health was provided to that child in Buffalo, New York, that wouldn't have happened. So
Curtis Steps, one of three candidates running for the District 5 seat on the Carroll County Board of Education. Curtis, along with Tom Sizemore and Bill Keskis, the three candidates that will be on the ballot for those residents in District 5. But let me give me a good idea of what that district looks like before we take our break.
District 5, if you got Carroll County, you got probably the top fifth of it. So you think, it is broken up into 5.
Go up on I-20 in Waco?
No, it doesn't. So you got the end of Bound Junction, part of 16. So if you go at the end of Bound Junction, 16 is one barrier, and then Sand Hill, Shady Groves is a barrier. If you think about east and west, as far south, I think it goes to Columbia Drive, Northside Drive, Linda Lane, and everything north. So North Carroll County, it's every time I look at the map, I'm like, that's a pretty big district, and it's a lot of schools in there.
Yeah, the populations are the same, but the way they make those districts, it is pretty big. All right, Curtis Steps. We'll come back and finish our conversation, or continue our conversation with Curtis. We'll have about 10 minutes after this break. Community Voice brought to you by Tanner Health System and Oak Mountain Academy on News Talk 1330 FM 106.3.
Health is a journey. It's making better choices, even when it's not easy. It's taking care of yourself and the people you love. At Tanner Health System, we're there for you with every step, with primary care, heart care, cancer care, women's care, orthopedics, surgical services, and so much more. We're dedicated to helping you live and feel your best. So let's get on that journey to health. You've got places to be for many years to come. Find us at tanner.org.
As a believer in the power of education, we are called to set the standard by shaping and empowering the minds of future generations through quality education. Oak Mountain Academy embraces this philosophy, which is why my children attend this prestigious school. I am elated to serve on the OMA Board of Trustees, where together we prepare students and remind them to trust and believe in the power to transform the world. I'm Dr. Brian Bain, inviting you to celebrate our 60-year legacy of academic excellence. Visit us at oakmountain.us.
8:48. Welcome back to the WLBB Community Voice here on News Talk 1330 FM 106.3. Streaming live on the News Talk 1330 WLBB app that you can download on the from the Apple Store. And this morning we are on the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page. My guest is Curtis Steps, one of three candidates running for the District 5 seat on the Carroll County Board of Education. A couple of comments we had already this morning. Jacob Mashburn says, Curtis is a good man, destined for success and greatness. And Nikki Dominy says, facts. If I lived in the district, he would have my vote. And William Keskis, who's one of the three candidates, he says, good morning, Colin, and good morning, Curtis. So I appreciate all of you guys checking into the program this morning. Again, in the next 10 minutes, if you do have questions or comments that you'd like me to share with Curtis, feel free to post those up, and I'll take one more look during our final break. Superintendents now, and I mean, it's state law, I think, and they may have even changed it like in the last 2 decades or something, but should the voters be able to pick who the superintendent of schools is, or are we okay with the Board of Education making that decision? I mean, it happens, statewide. We vote on the state superintendent.
Right. I think we should keep it in with the school board, and that's just my opinion. I just think that they are, if we're able to find the right candidate, then it shouldn't be a problem to everybody get together, because we got to come on agreements on a lot of things, on everything. We need to be in agreement. So being able to pick, not necessarily say our leader, but our leader, so to speak, picking him as a group would keep the camaraderie together and keep us together and keep the dialogue, being able to go back and forth and not it turn into an argument. Being able to communicate and be like, well, I know you picked this individual, but I see that, his last job, that he quit on his last job. Do we know why he quit? Because we don't want anybody that's going to quit on us. We want somebody that's going to stand up and be like, hey, I'm here for this county. I'm going to represent this county the best way I can. You guys let me know what I can do for you. So.
Well, this position, whoever wins this race will start 2023 and do a 4-year period. And there's a good chance, I may have said 4 years ago, there's a good chance that Scott Carroll wouldn't be superintendent 4 years, at this point. But I could throw it out there again. I mean, I'd say there's a good chance that he's not there 4 years from now. Right. But what kind of qualifications would you be looking for for a superintendent when you make your decision?
Looking for someone that can make tough decisions. And not worry about backlash, because you're dealing with a lot of money. You're not going to make everybody happy. That's just how the world works. Nobody can make everybody happy. You can try, but you will stretch yourself thin to the point that you probably become sick. So you want to get someone that is okay with making tough decisions and be able to bear the brunt of the force, because the school board is going to be like, oh, well, the school board approved it, or the school board did this, but what about the superintendent? He's the face. So you want to be somebody that, or not he or she. I'm gonna be politically correct. You want someone that can, not be the face and take the brunt of the force if it does come that way, and then someone again with foresight, someone that can be like, well, if we do this, how is it going to positively or negatively affect the educational system? And by the educational system, I mean the teachers and the students. Again, those are the heartbeat of our educational system. Without students, we don't have a school. Without teachers, we can't teach. So foresight and some tough skin.
Curtis Steps, our guest on this morning's Community Voice program, one of three candidates running for that seat on the District 5 seat on the Carroll County Board of Education, which is currently held by Donald Nixon. Nixon did not seek re-election this year. As far as dealing, you and I talked a little bit before the show about, we see Villa Rica is growing a little bit. What can the school board do about that? I mean, about growth. I mean, do you see in the future, more schools? Do you see them adding on to that school? I mean, that school may be, the high school may be,
I think it was like
grow anymore.
1,678 people.
And while that wouldn't be your district, you'd still have contribute
impact,
to what you guys are going to do in the future. And it could affect different districts if they make the district smaller. And I mean, you had talked about we were talking about we're having students in a different district than your own, and you talked about the kids maybe don't want to switch your kids. Right. I guess the same thing could be said for a cluster. I mean, can you move that cluster over in Villa Rica, where these Villa Rica kids are going to go to Temple High School now?
You don't want to do that.
No.
I mean, because you got to think about foresight. You got to think about gas. Just that alone, gas. Gas is, I just filled up my wife's car, and I'm not going to tell you how much it took. It takes premium, so I'm not going to tell you exactly. But you got to think about the impact of changing those or sliding everybody over, because if you slide those over to Temple, then you'll fill up Temple, but then Temple has to slide somewhere because growth is happening. We are growing in Carroll County, and not just in Villa Rica. Carrollton, Temple they're growing. They are building, and growth is a good thing because growth brings in revenue. That's something that as the county nobody's going to argue with revenue because you support these businesses. You get more people out here to support the businesses. That's what we want. That means we got more money flowing in the community. More money means more tax dollars. You get more tax dollars, you'll be able to build another school.
Let me, before we do take our break, let me ask you a couple of budget questions. The budget, the predicted budget for this year, it's smaller than it was last year at this point. Are you of the mind that if you have so much money, do you have to spend it? Because there's people who believe that if you don't spend the money that you're getting, you're going to get less of it next time. As far as putting together a budget, there's that theory. But as far as the taxpayers, do you think you have to spend that money on projects? Are you going to work hard for projects? Are you going to look to find ways to save that money? Put it away. $25 million is what the Carroll County school system has now in their fund balance, right. Which is it's a great number. Yeah. It's astonishing, but but if you wanted to save more or give us a tax break,
well, tax breaks are always nice. I mean, everybody likes money back in your pockets, but again, I'm always going to go back to thinking toward the future. How can we be continuously improving our educational system? And while giving back money is a great thing, I personally believe if we can cut the fat and trim the fat and be lean and be efficient, then we can probably drop the tax rate for everybody instead of showing that, hey, we can efficiently run with, instead of 25 million, we can officially run with 20 million or 18 million, $7 million back in the community, or even whatever it needs. And that I would suggest, and this is just me being young and probably dumb, but I would suggest having them vote on that, what we do with that extra money. What do you guys see that this $7 million can bring? And again, you got a very large county with a lot of people with different visions, and we can see where they all come from. One of the I actually early voted, and one of the on the polls was, should us as citizens be able to put a petition together and pretty much put a law in or something like that. Mm-hmm. And that's something similar. What do you think? What do you think as a community we should do with this extra $7 million?
Curtis Stepp, our guest on this morning's Community Voice program. Time right now is 8:57. I'm going to take this last break real quick and come back and let Curtis give us his elevator speech on why you should vote for Curtis Stepp for the District 5 seat on the Board of Education. Again, he's one of 3 candidates running to replace Donald Nixon, who did not seek re-election this year. Again, 8:57. We'll have more Community Voice after this.
Health is a journey. It's making better choices, even when it's not easy. It's taking care of yourself and the people you love. At Tanner Health System, we're there for you with every step, with primary care, heart care, cancer care, women's care, orthopedics, surgical services, and so much more. We're dedicated to helping you live and feel your best. So let's get on that journey to health. You've got places to be for many years to come. Find us at tanner.org.
I'm Michael Flynn, Oak Mountain Academy class of 1978.
Katie Flynn, class of 2010.
Justin Flynn, class of 2014.
Logan Flynn, class of 2019.
And I'm Marnie Flynn, current teacher at OMA.
My uncle Richard Orm Flynn, a founding father of Oak Mountain Academy, had a vision to see students become confident leaders who hold a faith-based value system in an academically rigorous environment. We are proud to celebrate 60 years of fulfilling my uncle's vision.
Our family invites you to visit the campus or oakmountain.us today.
8:57. Welcome back to the WLBB Community Voice. I'm Colin Worthington. My guest is Curtis Stepp. We've got 2 minutes with him before we conclude this morning's program, talking about his campaign for the District 5 seat on the Carroll County Board of Education. Have you gone door to door? Do you have a website? Do you have a Facebook page?
Yeah, I got Facebook, Curtis Stepp, for District 5, Carroll County Board of Education.
It's STEPPES?
STEPPS.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, so just follow me on Facebook. I would love anybody to ask any questions. I'm an open book. I want to know what you guys think. I want to know what you guys are looking for. as far as school systems and what we can do to be on the rise. I know Carroll County is a great county as far as education, but we want to still be continuously improving. Now, as far as I've been door to door, I've been probably all through Old Airport Road, Sand Hill, a few subdivisions on that area. Hadn't got a chance to get in the Mount Zion area yet, but I've been in a boot for 3 months. So,
is there like 1 minute? Is there like an issue that's coming up more than anything when you're talking to people as far as their concerns about the Board of Education?
No, probably the city schools. But, there's not much we can do about it.
Yeah. Curtis, thank you. It's good to meet you.
Thank you, Colin. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you coming out this morning. And that concludes all the interviews with Board of Education candidates on the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page. So, again, if you have questions about those candidates for that District 5 seats, you can go back and watch all of our programs. We'll have Curtis's up there in just a little bit on the newstalk1330.com website. And, of course, you can visit them all on the News Talk 1330 Facebook page. Time right now is 8:59. I believe tomorrow morning our guests are the Optimist Club of Carrollton. They have a new disc golf tournament which is coming up, and we'll talk all about their club and that event coming up here at 8:30 tomorrow. News Talk 1330, FM 106.3.